So, Becky, this is just a bit of an icebreaker.
Okay.
I have a series of questions, and hopefully I can get them to come up on my phone because I left the printout at home. But I'm just going to run through them really quickly, and you can answer as long or as short as you want. Becky hasn't seen any of these questions beforehand, so we're getting totally off-the-cuff answers, and I think it'll just help us to get to know her a little better. So first off, where were you born?
I was born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
And what is your name?
Anne.
Who are your parents, and what do they do?
My mother's name is Phyllis Q, and my dad's name is Kirby. And my mom works really hard cleaning homes, and dad works for the highways. And mom isn't safe, but my dad is progressive.
Great. And your mother's maiden name?
Marie.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs!
I think I knew that from your Facebook. What was your first pet?
I've never had one. Up until I became a missionary, then I needed a dog. So I had one dog for a year and then another dog for 4 years. So my present dog is still alive and kicking.
Good to hear. Where did you go to college?
Post-secondary education was in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
And what did you study?
Early childhood education.
What was your first job?
Waitressing.
Biggest pet peeve?
Probably when you're working at a gospel booth and people just walk by and they don't know what they're missing. They're just walking by and they're walking by the most important thing in the world.
Most prized possession?
Well, the Lord Jesus, my Savior, and I know He'll never leave me. Then Ken, then my dog.
Good answer. Favorite book besides the Bible?
Probably anything by Jim Elliot and Elizabeth Elliot and Lily McDonald. So there's a whole bunch.
Good choices. If you could be any animal, what would you be?
A dog.
And why?
Because they're so painful.
What superpower would you choose if you could?
I have the power of God living within me. I don't think anything can top that.
Wow. Okay. Favorite food?
I like everything that's bad, but I can't eat it. So I like food. I like food.
Least favorite food?
Fish, yeah.
Most embarrassing moment?
There's too many for me to count. I give the angels gray hair.
Okay, best memory?
Probably when I trusted the Lord as my Savior. I can remember it to this day, but I don't remember the time or the date, but I remember the moment.
Proudest moment?
Probably not see, and this isn't me, but probably seeing people who come to know the Lord follow Him and want to be baptized, people that I've witnessed to and want to go on to the Lord. I can't say that's a proud moment, but it's a moment that I would give God all the glory, and you just thank God that you were a link in the chain. But I don't know if you can, it wouldn't be proud, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
I think a lot of us know this, but where do you work and what is your occupation?
I serve the Lord full-time in Amaranth, Manitoba, Sandy Bay First Nation, and other places in Manitoba, sharing the gospel. And working in schools, sharing the gospel with Aboriginal kids. And I have a drop-in center, and we've been praying for help for years, and always thought it would be another girl that would help me, but the Lord saw otherwise, and I'm glad, and so I'm thankful that I'll have help eventually.
Tell us the short version of how that came to be.
Ken or the work? Basically, I had an early childhood education degree, working in daycare, working in the school system, and I'm seeing these single mothers come in with kids, and knowing that it's a hard life raising up kids and trying to get your education, trying to support them, and here's me trying to teach them to do what's right, and yet they didn't have the power to do what's right, and I felt like hitting myself in the head because I knew what they needed, the gospel, the mother and the children. So I started praying about it and started visiting these people that I would work with and take care of their kids, and eventually work, and then work at the daycare, and eventually I had to cut back my hours at the daycare, and I had to pray to the Lord to help me to be able to find time to do everything, and eventually split up my jobs so that I had like 7 hours free time, working shift work, where I can go out and do gospel work and go door to door and visitation, and eventually the work got so great that I knew He was tapping me on the shoulder to leave my work and fulfill the Great Commission and seek to share the gospel with people. So eventually I heard about Sandy Bay, I heard about the suicides, and I thought I'd give it a whirl after spending a lot of time on different reserves and see if God would open up the door there. And I went to visit the principal, and she said, yeah, these kids need to hear your story, because I grew up with alcohol and grew up with all sorts of little problems. And so I went and shared my testimony, how God saved me in the classrooms, and the teachers are like, come back, we want to hear more. And so I went back, and then eventually I was driving back and forth for a year, because I was in Portage, in Sandy Bay, an hour away from Portage. And I was praying for God to give me a place to live, and eventually that happened, and I moved out there, and it's been over 8 years, almost 10, actually. 8 years, so it was just God opening doors, and our job is to step through them, right?
That's great. Moving on to Ken. Well, still the questions are for you, but about Ken. So how did you and Ken meet?
Toronto conference.
More details.
Toronto conference, I was with Emily McCandless. We were staying together, my first time ever at Toronto conference, very overwhelming. It took me all day to find someone that I knew, and so I just stood around looking like a goofus with her, and he walked up to us and talked to us, but Emily whispered in my ear that I'm not supposed to talk to boys at conference. She's just being whatever. It was funny. She's just being goofy. She's a little bit nervous, and so we just talked for a little bit, and that was it. And I never thought really too much about it because I was busy with other things. But eventually he kept getting in touch with me and found out about his work on the reserve and getting to know one another and blah, 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 and the rest of it.
How do you envision dinner with Ken on a typical weeknight after you're married?
I would probably jump up and down from my seat about 10 times, getting things ready and bringing things to the table, because that's how I am. I'm very active. And he would be sitting there enjoying it and taking his time, and I'd be thinking about the things that he might need or might not need or all that kind of stuff, because my brain goes and goes and goes. And we would talk a lot and eat our food and enjoy it, and yeah. But I'm the one to get up and go and run around and stuff, because that's how I am. He's more take it easy and slow kind of thing, and so it's good. We level each other out.
Okay. What do you think you'll do together on weekends?
Work. And then I forget to mention work. It depends, whatever the Lord wants. Whatever the Lord wants.
Where were you when Ken proposed?
We were at Porterville Prairie at a pizza place called Bill's Sticky Fingers.
So tell us the engagement story.
He totally fooled me. We were in Portage for the day, and I don't spend a lot of time in Portage, but we were meeting a lot of people that I knew that I used to work with and witness to, and so the day was dragging on, and I guess he had made arrangements at Bill's Sticky Fingers to pop the question and have the special pizza made and all this kind of stuff with "Will you marry me" on it, and I was taking my time visiting people on the street, blah, 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 blah. I think he wanted to get me to the restaurant, but he got me there eventually, and when we went to our table, there was water on the table already, and I made a comment like, wow, these guys are good. Like, how they didn't even know we were coming? But I never thought anything about it. Anyway, sat down, and eventually pizza came out, and I just thought it was our typical ham and pineapple, because that's what we ordered. But it was just a plain cheese pizza, and it said Willie Rangy on it. And so, yeah, that's what he did. He was a sneaker. I wasn't even ready for that.
So apart from the proposal, what has surprised you about Ken?
I don't know. I don't know if I've really been surprised too much at all. He's pretty laid back and take it easy, and yeah, I don't think I've been. Have I been surprised by anything? I can't think of anything really. Well, just his spontaneity, like he jumped off a 45-foot cliff the other day, and I knew he was going to do it, but he did it 3 times, and so like stuff like that.
That's surprising. What is the last question? What is one of your favorite things about Ken?
I think that we are going to like balance each other out, and that's what I like about him. He's just he's thoughtful and caring, and he treats me like a queen, and he loves the Lord and prayerful, and so I think it's good. It's all good.
Okay, thank you.
So first off, pretty easy one. Where were you born?
I was born in Doctors Hospital in Toronto, Ontario, May 3rd, 1983. I was born with my fist punched and I was screaming.
Remember what you said.
Probably in Screamo language, I hate the world and I want to see it burn.
What is your middle name?
Ronald, for Rotten Ronnie.
Where do your parents live and what do they do?
Well, I have a lovely mother. She lives at 139 North Carson Street. She's a registered dietitian.
Don't be so specific, please. We don't need to know her address.
I have a father that works at Bayer in the chemical factory.
Cats or dogs? Was that before or after Becky? What was your first pet?
I had turtles, I believe.
And your field of study?
I studied education. History was where I first started to study university and geography.
And your first job?
I worked as a landscapist for seniors.
What is, about anything, not just Becky, your biggest pet peeve?
Probably people that are unthankful, basically, in a world that is full of people that are hurting and starving, and those people that are unthankful.
What would be your most prized possession?
First of all, my salvation. Second of all, Becky. And third, RD.
What's your favorite book? Next to the Bible.
Probably C.S. Lewis, The Silver Chair.
If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
I would probably be Virginia opossum. Hanging off a tree with my rat-like tail and beady little eyes and sharp little teeth to freak out anyone that saw me and perchance happen to follow me in the bush.
Do you come with any superpowers, if you could?
The power to convince people that salvation is the greatest option anyone could ever take.
Your least favorite food?
That's a good question. I guess something that tastes, I don't know, putrid, something I don't know.
Do you have a favorite food?
I really like calamari.
What is your most embarrassing moment?
I don't know, I've had many embarrassing moments over the years. Probably just saying something silly and not being able to recant it.
And your most proudest moment?
The day I gave my will to Christ.
Where do you work and what is your occupation?
I'm a teacher. I've worked for 2 years as a grade 6-7 teacher, and I'm seeking to work in a Sunday school, also to work for the Lord and to bring a message of sins forgiven through faith in Christ to the precious children that live in our community.
Do you care to elaborate on how you and Becky met for the first time?
We met in person at the Toronto conference, and yeah, I guess I was close to where she was in a sing, and I approached her and we talked, and a couple minutes into the conversation, I was a little brash and offered her a ride on my motorcycle.
And what did she say?
She said if she was wearing pants, then she'd love to.
Very good answer.
But Emily pulled me away.
Typical weekend, what do you envision the two of you getting up to?
Wherever the Lord leads, basically, there's multiple things that can be done and will be done, and we just have to keep our minds and hearts open to Him and keep lots of empty schedule space available for whatever it is that He wants us to do.
Has anything surprised you about Becky? Anything she does?
I haven't had any major surprises. I guess maybe just the way she orders something and the way I order something. I'll let her order next time, and I'll order the other half, and then we'll put it together. I mean, that's the best thing.
What's one of your most favorite things about Becky?
I love her drive. I love her passion for serving God, and I love her ability to talk to others about Christ, and things that bring her joy bring me joy. Also, in that respect.
Okay, thank you. Great job, Kenny.
Thank you, Michael and Amy. Great job on interviewing.